Jamie, Kern, Lima, WTF. Hello, I'm hgtudor. You remember Jamie Three Names, don't you? She was on a podcast with this one's wife, where Buzz Lightyear's sister engaged in toking on the helium whilst chatting errant nonsense to this one's wife, who reciprocated. We were subjected to nonsense such as full body chills and asking this one's wife how she was and telling her how wonderful she is. It was mutual masturbation without touching. It was toe curling. It was unedifying. And it introduced the world to the bizarre individual that is Jamie Kern Lima. It didn't do her any favours as the horn of ridicule came out. Let's get it in there, early doors. It's richly deserved for this woman. Well, off the back of that performance, there's more. Yes, really? You thought perhaps that she might well have realised, hang on a second, I looked like a goon, I talked utter shite, and, unfortunately, now I have an association with one of the most disliked women on the planet. I hang my head in shame and I retreat. But no, not this individual who looks to court publicity almost as much as this one's wife does. For she has returned, and I warn you that you might find what I'm about to show you the fuel of nightmares. So, I've warned you, you won't be able to bring any legal claims against me as a consequence of any trauma you experience in respect of what you're about to witness. Hold tight, here it comes.
So many of us who are doing so much lifelong work to heal, to restore, to break generational cycles, right? To unlearn old things and to learn new ways of how we want to be and how we want to show up in the world and how we want to love and how we want to give and how we want to ideate and how we want to just put our goodness out into this world. And when you've done all that work, you've raised the bar, right? You've raised the bar on who you are and how you want to live and be and give and serve in this world. And so just one thing to think about, right, is those words. You've worked too hard and healed too much not to raise the bar on who has access to you.
What the fuck was that? Seriously? What in the absolute dickens have we just witnessed there? First of all, why, oh why, Buzz Lightyear's sister, are you thrusting your strange fizzog straight into the camera? Have you strapped it too close to you? Do you think that the closer you are to the camera, that the closer you are to us, in order to vomit your word salad over us more effectively? Why are you stood so close to the camera? Or why is it zoomed in so much upon you? Your head's massive to begin with. Surely you would want to be stood as far away as possible from the camera or zoom out as far as you possibly can to make you look at least a little more normal. But no, there you are in pin-sharp crikey vision, terrifying young children, giving the collywobbles to pensioners. And then, what's with the exorcist voice that comes out? What on earth is that? So many of us who are doing so much lifelong healing. I thought she spoke as if she'd been toking on helium, and now we're getting the voice of somebody that has been smoking 40 Rothmans a day for at least the last 30 years. Furthermore, why is she filming in the bathroom? Is it as a consequence that she's going to spout so much shit that she needs to be somewhere that's tiled so it's easily cleaned thereafter? Is it the case that her long-suffering family have decided, we don't want you filming anywhere near us, you terrify us and you talk errant nonsense? Accordingly, the only place that she can film is to scurry away to a bathroom somewhere. These are the questions that many of you might think need answering, but actually they don't. But it's not just her appearance, that strange gravelly voice, where's that come from, and the fact that she's filming in a bathroom, but what on earth is she talking about? answers in an email. narcissist1909@gmail.com. If you can decipher the ridiculousness that's being spouted by this crazy woman. It is simply unbelievable, isn't it? As she explains to us about how there are so many of us who are doing so much lifelong work to heal, to restore. No, you're not. To break generational cycles, she explains. You're not healing anybody leaning in that close to the camera, staring into the depths of people's souls. Apart from me, I don't have one. But we're being told to unlearn old things and to learn new ways of how we want to be and how we want to show up and how we want to give love and how we want to ideate. What? Ideate? Is that even a word? You might have suicidal ideation, but surely you would be using the word think instead. And how we just want to put our goodness out into this world, she craps on. And we've done all that work, she tells us. You've raised the bar, right? I'm going to the bar after this, I'll tell you, on who you are and how you want to live and be and give and serve in this world. And so just one thing to think about, right? It's those words. You've worked too hard and healed too much not to raise the bar on who has access to you. What? What was that? It didn't make any sense whatsoever. It was just, I recognised the words, they were English, although the delivery was rather worrying. But what was she actually talking about? I don't know. Do you know? Probably not. And you're not stupid. How do we know that? You watch my videos, of course. But what we have there is a perfect example of someone whose head has been up their backside for far too long, which is some achievement given the size of the head. It also demonstrates that she's been spending far too much time with this one's wife because she's pumping out this word salad. Part of it is infused with certain aspects of California. Now, I don't do anything down against those of you that are for California. If you're watching my work, you clearly don't talk like that. But it is a state that's known for some of the sort of hokum that's spouted in this sort of new age way. But it's more than that with her. She's attempting to tell you how you ought to be living your life and how wonderful you are in a way that's very similar to that of this one's wife, which either tells us she's a similar creature to that of this one's wife, or she's been spending far too much time with this one's wife and has started to talk like her. Particularly notice the use of the phrase show up, which is so empty and meaningless. And yet here we have this aberration, noggin far too close to the camera lens, staring into the depths of your soul, occasionally closing her eyes as she then issues another great big tranche of vocal fry. It's an unedifying experience. But here we have somebody who believes that she is entitled enough to take to social media and tell you how it ought to be, how your life ought to be run, how you should be. Who is she? She's someone who used her husband's money and made more money. That's it. She got lucky. And there are many individuals that are critical of her product. Well, that's a story for another day. But she once again embodies that mindset, similar to that of this one's wife, that give me a phone camera and I will stand in front of it and talk to you. She thinks that she's doling out pearls of wisdom. We know that basically Hershey's kisses of shite that are being spattered all over the bathroom that she stands in. Seriously, I challenge you, valuable viewers, decipher the nonsense that you've just heard and pop it in the comments section. I'm off to the bar. Thank you for listening.